Hotep, I am the one and only Amen Osiris, the undisputed God of law. We are www.deceptionstoppers.com, America's only child support education service. I am not a lawyer. This is not a law firm. I do not advocate that you don't support your human offspring. I simply advocate that you made them in private and you take care of them in private. Okay? Today I'm going to talk to you about a very important word. A lot of you only know it as having one meaning. All right, but it has a dual meaning. All right, one in public and one in private. All right, and it's the word succeed. Okay. Now, for those of you who have not gotten into your vocabulary yet, succeed would mean achieve the desired aim or result. He succeeded in winning a pardon. All right, synonymous with triumph, victorious, and all those other words. Okay, success. All right, yeah, you made it. You're a successful rapper, whatever. Okay, that's great. But on the negative side, okay, number two, it says take over a throne, inheritance, office, or other position from. Okay, and today you're going to learn that the 4D corporation succeeded you. Okay, and when they succeeded you, they took your status of man away. Okay, and what they did was they gave you the status of what? A corporation. Okay, now the government, the corporations that are running this place, they can only deal with fictions. Okay, you can call it straw man, you call it whatever you want. It is a fiction. All right, the reason it is a fiction because child support is based off of the Social Security card name and account number. That is how they get their federal funding. They are using your commercial energy to obtain federal funding for profit. Okay, so now the legal word succeed means de-evolution from title to property under the law of distribution. Okay, isn't child support under the law of distribution? They take money from the non-custodial pay rent, then they distribute it to the obligee. All right. De-evolution, the transfer or transition from one person to another of right, liability, title, estate, or office. Okay. They transferred and transitioned you from your status as man, all right, and gave you the liability of child support and created something different. So we're going to look at some words here, gentlemen. You can never go wrong with looking at your words. All right, this is from the Office of Child Support. Now, before you become a non-custodial parent, this is how you are viewed. Legal father, a man who is recognized by law as the male parent of a child. Biological father, the man who provided the parental genes of a child. Okay, the biological father is sometimes referred to as the natural father. Okay, so either or, these are men. So before you became a non-custodial parent, okay, you were a man. All right, now they succeeded you to the status of non-custodial parent in Obligor, and we're going to get into that. As far as the corporations are concerned, which you think are government, okay, there's a lot of talk going around about the straw man fallacy. Okay, there is a straw man. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. The straw man is the Social Security card and account number. All right. Now, I'm not telling. This is just information that you can add to your repertoire. All right, to your arsenal. Okay, because you need to know who's what and who's where. Okay, governments can only deal with fictions, and this case law is going to prove that. In as much as every government is an artificial person, an abstract, and a creature of the mind only. A government can interface only with other artificial persons. The imaginary, having neither actuality nor substance, is foreclosed from creating and attaining parity with the tangible. The legal manifestation of this is that no government, as well as any law, agency, aspect, court, etc., can concern itself with anything other than corporate artificial persons and the contracts between them. Okay? If you have a driver's license, that is a contract. When you apply for something from the state, that is a contract. And therefore, you're being deemed, once you put that social security number on there, guess what? That social security number is a fiction. Okay, that is the straw man. All right, let's continue. Okay. Now, this is what happens, okay? Under Section 42 U.S.C. 666A3C, it clearly states notice of the non-custodial parent's Social Security and account number. All right? Who owns that Social Security account number? Not you, okay? Now, 1208 accuracy of uniform summary support order. The litigants must be properly named and properly what? Identified as either obligor or obligee. How are they identified? The Social Security number. Okay? That is your person. That is a trust. Okay? You can actually use that number to discharge debts if you know how to do it. Okay? Very simple. So, remember, identify. What does identified mean? Let's look at it. Let's look at the dictionary terms. I know I showed you this before, okay? But the problem is, here it is. Sameness in the law of evidence. The fact that a subject, person, or thing before the court is the same as it is represented or charged to be. So in other words, the non-custodial parent is properly identified by a Social Security card name and account number. All right. That is a corporation, gentlemen. It is a fiction. It does not exist. It is a corpse. That is why the name is spelled in all capital letters, which commonly refers to capitis deminutia maxima. Let's look at that word if you've never looked it up before. Okay. These words are very important, gentlemen. Now, will this help you to go in and terminate your case? All right, I'm not this person, I'm not that person. They're going to ignore you. All right, here it is. Capitis diminutia maxima, the highest and most comprehensive loss of status. When you use that Social Security name or card number in that name, you're waiving your status as man. This occurred when a man's condition was changed from one of freedom to one of bondage when he became a slave. All right, that name on the Social Security number, gentlemen, is a what? What is it? It's a corporation. Okay. The non-custodial parent. All right. The obligor, the person obligated to pay child support. Now, I think I have up here, right here. Check this out. Person, and this is coming from Arizona Child Support Glossary of terms. Person means an individual, corporation, business trust, estate trust, partnership, limited liability company, association, joint venture, public corporation, government or governmental subdivision, agency or instrumentality, or any other legal commercial entity. Is the non-custodial parent a legal commercial entity? Yes, it is. All right. So it is a corporation. And not to mention, look, check this out. That Social Security card, if you're not aware of it, it is a trust. That is a person. Okay. That person is a trust. It is a corporation. It is an individual. What is an individual? Let's look up the Black's Law's term. Individual. Right? You'll find that an individual is what? It's an artificial person. Look, in proper cases includes an artificial person. Payow. All right? That's what child support is digging in. All right, so let's continue this. All right, so these are the definitions. All right, so here, before, now here's how you can tell they de-evolved you from your status, right? Under the law of distribution, because up here, when you were a legal father, you were a man. When you were the biological father, you were a man. All right, but down here, once they de-evolved you, right, and they turned you into a person. All right, because they can only deal with fictions. These are the dictionary terms of what the non-custodial parent is. Artificial persons. Persons created and devised by human laws for the purpose of society and government. Who's running child support? Government. All right, so still a corporation. As distinguished from human beings, corporations are examples of what? Artificial persons. Corporation, an artificial person or legal entity created by or under the laws, authority of the laws of the state. That's also defined as an ens legis, a creature of the law, an artificial being, as contrast with the natural person. Applied to what? Corporations. Okay? Remember, the Social Security card is a trust. It is a corporation, considered as deriving their existence entirely from law. That's not you. You derive your existence from God. Okay? So, another case law. The contracts between them involve U.S. citizens. Who is the U.S. citizen? Who is the U.S. citizen? The Social Security account number. All right, that person on that card is the U.S. citizen. It was issued and created by the United States, what? Social Security Administration. United States is a foreign corporation in respect to the state. All right, so a citizen is actually a foreign corporation if you really think about it. All right, which are deemed corporate entities. Okay, so a citizen is a corporate entity. Therefore, the U.S. citizens residing, what is res? All right, res is referring to property. In one of the states of the Union are classified as property and franchises of the federal government as an individual entity. All right. Corpus Juris Secundum, Corporations 886. A corporation is a citizen. Resident, res, right? Look, identity, or inhabitant of the state or country by under the laws of which it was created, and of that state or country only. Okay? Gentlemen, these are all straw men. Child support, the non-custodial pay rent, the obligor is the non-custodial, these are corporations. Okay? These are positively identified by a social. Anything identified by a social is a trust. A trust is a corporation. Okay? So, this is why they tell you SSA publication 05102, yada, yada, yada. It states you should not use your social security card as an identification card. Okay? Social security cards are not forms of identification. Okay, but that's the only thing that they can actually identify with if you go back to the case law. All right, look, an artificial person. A government can only interface with other artificial persons. They're not interfacing with you. They're interfacing with the straw man, that person that you have, that trust that was put in trust for you to benefit from. Okay, let's go to I pulled up what was it? There it is. All right, I pulled the application from Tennessee because I like how it's worded. Now listen to this. No, each individual's social security number is a look. Each individual's an individual is an artificial person. That's why they need it. Is a critical part of case processing. If they don't have a social security number, they cannot process a child support case. It is not going to happen. Based on Section 466A13 of the Social Security Act, which was never enacted into positive law, it says you are required to disclose the Social Security numbers to the child support agency. Use of a Social Security number, gentlemen, is 100% voluntary. Okay? No one can mandate. You don't even have to have one if you do not want one. All right? Here it is right here. They will be used by the state's child support program. We know that's a lie. What it should be reading is they will be used by the child support program in the state to locate what? Individuals, artificial persons, for the purpose of establishing paternity and establishing, modifying, and enforcing support obligation. Okay? Without that social, they don't get federal funding. Without that social, you're not identified as a non-custodial pay rent or an obligor, which is an artificial person. Okay? Now, can you add this to your arsenal? Yes, if you go study it deeply. Okay? Gentlemen, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I just wanted to share with you exactly how you were succeeded against your will, okay, of de-evolution of your title as man to property under the law of distribution. Okay? If you ask me, that's a case of unjust enrichment, and it's also a case of fraud. Did you give them permission to de-evolve you from your title of man to property under the law of distribution? Did you know that they were doing that? Did you consent to it? Did you yield to the proposition? Okay, really need to think about that. So, as opposed to going in and saying, well, I'm not the straw man, well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Child Support Agency, I never consented to de-evolve from my title of man to property under the law of distribution. Um, you succeeded me without my knowledge, without my consent, and in violation of due process. And therefore, we're going to do two things. You're going to terminate this case and give my money back, or I'm just going to sue you in federal court. All right. This is actually a libel suit, gentlemen. Okay. This is a libel suit. And as a result of them succeeding you, you are now being deprived of what? Your rights, privileges, and immunities secured by the constitutions, federal and state. It is totally up to you. All right. They're also subjecting you to peonage. All right. Look it up. Okay. They're also subjecting you to slavery, involuntary servitude. They are taking your property, which is the money that you honestly acquire, all right, without just compensation, and they're using it. And they're saying it's for the best interest of the children. And the Supreme Court said that Title 4D is not in the best interest of the children. All right, so just food for thought, something you can use. Again, you can add it to your weapons. Okay, again, you did not know about it. It was done behind your back. It was done secretly and knowingly. It was done maliciously for profit. And as a result, guess what? All governments are derived their just power from the consent of the governed. All right, it's time to start withdrawing your consent. All right, retain your title as man and separate yourself from that property under the law of distribution because it is not benefiting you whatsoever. I am the Amen Osiris. If you have an issue in child support, stop by the website www.deceptionstoppers.com. All right, schedule yourself a class and we will educate you. All right, and by all means, gentlemen, these are the facts. Okay, so again, as opposed to going in and saying I'm not the straw man, all right, take it from a different level. Okay, well, again, I never consented to de-evolve from title to property under the law of distribution, and as a result of that, they are unjustly being rewarded. All right, because states still make a profit on child support. All right, and they're free to spend their share of the profits any way they see fit. All right, Federal Manual of Child Support, page 65. All right, so gentlemen, stop by, get your vocabulary up, get yourself a Black's Laws dictionary, start tearing down these words. All right, and again, no argument, don't argue with them. Just say, well, I'll tell you what, either matter of fact, don't even give them an option, just fucking sue their ass. Okay, or you can take it to a court of equity. All right, under the law of distribution. Okay, because remember, they made something in your name. If we decide to purchase a McDonald's, all of us get together and purchase a McDonald's, and we not purchase it, but we build it somehow, some way we get their products and we get all their toys and we get the same logos and everything, and we don't have a franchise, McDonald's is going to come after us for not having their permission. Why don't you do the same thing to child support? I'm the Amen Osiris. Appreciate your time. Stop by, check us out. Hotep.